The songs just came. I don't really know how they come, which might sound a little odd, but after a song is finished, I can think about it a few days later, and I don't really realize, well, how did that happen? You know, I woke up, I had a song in my head, I went to the tape recorder, I put a piece down, you know, then I went into the studio and I started cutting it and doing overdubs, and next thing it went this direction, then I did this and arranged it and put horns and strings and synthesizers and percussion and did it, and then it grows and grows and background vocals and and all of a sudden it becomes this thing that's really put together. And when I'm in the process, because I'm doing most of it myself, if not all of it, I'm too busy to think. I'm jumping from one instrument to the next and just trying to keep the flow going. So when it's all done, it's like, where'd that come from? You know, I'm kind of in a frenzy when I'm doing it. What makes a Lenny Kravitz song a Lenny Kravitz song? Me. That's it, you know? My sensibilities, which are all over the place, but I think it all starts with the voice, with the vocals. And, you know, because I play all the instruments, or most of them, on a track, you've got my full personality. So it really is about just me being me. And when you asked earlier about equipment, we talked about vintage equipment, the reason that I use a lot of this equipment is not just because it's vintage and it's cool to use it and it's romantic to use it. It's because of its wholeness and its organic quality. And I think it's really important to hear the musician's personality come through on the instruments. Because back in the day when you'd listen to a record, say it was a studio record, you know, not a band, but a solo artist, and, you know, you could listen to that record and hear the instruments and say, oh, that's so-and-so on bass, because you can hear it. You can hear their style, you can hear their fingers, you can hear the tone of their amplifier. Oh, that's so-and-so on drums. Who's that on guitar? Oh, that must be so-and-so. Is it? Oh, yeah. There was an identity to the players, and same thing with bands. You know, when you listen to a band, you know that, you know, that's John Entwistle on the bass. You know that's his sound. That's, you know, Pete Townsend on the guitar. That's Keith Moore on the drum, etc. Now, and in the last years, obviously for years now, the sound has become more homogenized. For instance, on so many records, a drummer will play his part, and then after the part is recorded, the drummer will put drum trigger samples on the drums. And so many people do this, and a lot of them use the same samples, and they all get passed around, or they're very similar. So therefore, where's the personality? Who's playing those drums? Not really sure. It could be anybody. And that's just one example. But I've gone in a big circle now. But you said, what makes my music sound like my music? It's just me, and I'm putting my personality forth, and I'm letting the recording process amplify my character on all the instruments by keeping it as pure as possible. Do I have a personal favorite song? Not really. I tend to look at the album as one piece. It's hard to say, well, I like this one more or less. Yeah. The new single, Stand, is really cute. It's funny. It's got this very poppy, you know, almost bubblegummy quality on top of this funk bed. And it was definitely heavily influenced by the Partridge Family, as you might hear. One of my great influences. You know, the song has a harpsichord in the center of it. And of course, on a lot of those old Partridge Family tunes, when you'd watch TV as a kid, you know, even on the theme song, they had the harpsichord. So I like that. And what's interesting about the song is that it's very, you know, it's got a funky beat, and it's light, and it's uplifting, and it's airy, and it's fun. But the song, to me personally, has a very serious message because, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, it's about persevering in life and moving forward. And when you get knocked down, you got to get right back up and keep on moving. And you got to, you know, a positive attitude and so forth and so on. But the song's origin, well, it's about a friend who became paralyzed from the waist down. And I wasn't in the country where this person was, a very close friend of mine, like a brother. And I wanted to do something that would just at least give him a good vibe, because what can I really do? You can pray, you can help somebody by just trying to give them positive vibrations. And so I wrote him this song, and that was it. That's like what I could give, you know. And the person today, thank God, is walking and actually back on his feet, which is what the whole song is about. So the video is really fun. It's total comedy. I don't think people are going to see this one coming, but I play 3 different characters, and the whole video is based on a game show, kind of like Let's Make a Deal or something like that I used to see my grandmother watching when I was a kid. And, you know, just kind of deals with people losing things and how they deal with it, but in a completely comedic way. And it was really fun to play the different characters. Faith of a Child is about how sometimes, more than sometimes, we need to regain our childlike qualities, the magic, the faith, the love. As adults, we get jaded, we carry baggage, we go through experiences that might dullen our, it might dull our innate, how do I put it, you know, desires, which are to simply love and be loved and to have faith and believe in things. And that song just talks about having the faith of a child. You know, we can do all these things. We can have love, we can have peace, we can have all these things in our lives, but we may have to have the faith of a child in order to get it. Is it important for my songs to be positive? It's not something that I say I need to do or I have to do, but they just are, and that's the way I was raised, and that's what I feel good representing. I feel good being positive and optimistic, and it just feels natural for me. Working with Craig Ross is a beautiful thing. He's been playing with me since the Mama Said tour, and he's the only other person that really makes it on the albums. And beside horn players. And the great thing about our working relationship is that I don't have to explain anything to him. I'll just say, I said I don't have to say anything, now I'm saying what I say. But I'll have to say something just very short. like this is what we're doing, or I'll just start playing and he'll immediately know exactly where to go, and we don't bump into each other. He always plays the counterpart to what I play, and he's so well versed in so many styles as well. So we can really move around and cover a lot of territory. But he's a really underrated cat. This guy is one of the best guitar players ever, and he deserves a lot more credit. I felt like collaborating with Jay-Z again because the song told me to. Meaning, I don't think of things to do just because, oh, that would be an event, or that would be cool to do, or it's all about the song. And so after recording Bungie Drop, I heard his voice in the center of the song. I knew it wasn't a guitar solo or whatever. I wanted Jay's voice. I felt it had the character for what I was looking for. So I called him, and you know, he's a very cool cat. He said yes, and put him on the track. Simple.